Wonderful, wonderful. So, Morena Koto, very glad to be here. We, of course, are representing Hobson's Pledge. We are a civil rights group. We believe strongly that New Zealand is a place that needs to be free and fair for all people, that all people need to be treated equally. And it is something that we've been very strong about, as per our maxim, if you'd like, from Hobson himself, saying that iwi tahi tātou, meaning that we are all one people. Now, we've got a wonderful record of exposing racism and race-based policies, such as the attempt to remove coastlines from Kiwis and moving it into the hands of racial groups, some of the segregation tactics that have been engaged in different contexts and businesses and universities, and even things such as constitutional power transferals from different areas, such as local government, that we see going on. So we've got a group there that we're coming up to 200,000 on our database. We're very proud, and we are okay with the amount of hate, death threats that we get, because we believe strongly that to be a nation where all people are treated equally and for racial harmony to exist, that we have to bring up these little problems that exist. Now, we here today, of course, are talking about the section under the Act, the amendment. And in that terms, it is specifically around the section 127.1, which we support. So we support the idea that the board's paramount objective in governing a school is that it is to ensure that every student at the school is able to attain their highest possible standard in educational achievement. Wonderful. We support the secondary objectives, except for 127.2E, 1, 2, and 3. Now, to cut that into pieces, the section, first one there, 127.2E1, achieving equitable outcomes for Māori students. This one is, for myself, as one of the trustees for Hobson's Pledge, this is my bugbear. I find this to be the absolute soft bigotry of low expectations. In terms of this, while it is a laudable goal to strive for each student to attain the highest possible standard of education that they are capable of achieving, it is not possible to achieve equitable outcomes for all students. Outcomes will vary according to natural ability, attitude, effort, family support, and development already achieved by the time they start school, among many other factors. The goal should be for all students, regardless of ethnicity, to achieve to the best of their ability. Equity has long been something which has been fought for by different activists. It doesn't work. It has never worked in the history of mankind, as far as I can see. The only studies that you can see that show it are ones where it is a flawed study, where they specify different areas of pre-outcomes that they try to push. It's a negative. And I just want to put out there for myself, I've gone down to my children's school, and I've told them that they are not to treat my children differently simply because they whakapapa Māori or whakapapa Pasifika. That I want my children to, if they fail, that they must fail equally. They must not be treated any different than any other group at all, so that they can be strong for the world to come. The other parts that we talk about, of course, is that section part there, working to ensure that its plans, policies, and teaching and learning programs reflect local tikanga Māori, Mātauranga Māori, and Te Ao Māori. We absolutely oppose this. And in this, we actually agree with Elizabeth Rata, that very respected professor. There's no evidence that cultural ethnic-based learning improves outcomes. It also undermines the secular nature of schooling. And again, it's another example of where a financial grift element will come in, because every school will no doubt have to hire cultural consultants, kohata local iwi, and so on, instead of investing in children. We absolutely object to that. The third one there that you've got is taking all reasonable steps to make instruction available in tikanga Māori and te reo Māori. We oppose this objective as well. Educational institutes need to cater to students from a diverse range of ethnicities and backgrounds. The objective should be to prepare students for success in a modern, diverse, and global world. To require that instruction be subject to political and identity-based objectives is inappropriate. The requirement also puts unnecessary requirements and we all know, expense on school boards. So we recommend, Hobson's Pledge recommends that the paramount objective in section 127.1 be retained. We recommend that the committee entirely remove the secondary objectives of section 127E, 1, 2, and 3. We thank you very much for your work. I look forward to any questions.
Thanks very much, Elliot. I've got a question from Parmajit Palmer.
Thank you, Elliot, for your submission. Those who are opposing this bill, especially the freedom of expression component in this bill, believe that freedom of expression to ensure academic freedom can lead to health and safety risks or issues at campuses. What do you say to those views?
The health and safety component is quite interesting. I find it very interesting because one, you've got tangible health and safety requirements. The other part is if it's a freedom of speech element, then there shouldn't be an attachment to that. You need to be able to bring up anything that you want to bring up within that discussion point of view. A health and safety issue should be something which is clear, tangible, and also can be evidenced. Outside of that, it's fine.
So do you think that this point is conflating controversial views with hate speech?
There is an argument to be made that nothing should be hate speech, because in order to confront and to help resolve things of the future, you need to be able to discuss topics that may be seen as controversial. And so if one party, and for example, the whole male-female dynamic, boys and girls changing rooms, that's something which needs to be allowed to be spoken of, because it is a group of variable information that you need. In terms of Māori and Māori issues and race relations in New Zealand, we need to be able to speak about all these different topics if we're going to come to a good, positive resolution. This is why we believe that all ideas and topics should be on the table for discussion.
Thank you. I've got a question from Grant.
Yeah, thanks very much, Elliot. I'm pleased you think that we focus on educational achievement being the number one thing is great. I'm just curious, you object to one of the 127.2E3, the one about taking reasonable steps to make instruction available in Te Kunga Māori and Te Reo Māori. Are you aware that Te Reo is an official language of New Zealand?
Yeah, absolutely, I do know that. One of the wonderful things about New Zealand is that we're a diverse nation, so we shouldn't actually be forcing or singling out Te Māori in front of we shouldn't be singling out Māori as anything to be cut aside, made exclusionary, anything like that. One of the wonderful things about Singapore, as an example, is that the kids have to speak a different language, but they can actually choose. And so they take away the language of their own different ethnicity, whether that's Punjabi, Hindi, whether it's Chinese or whatever it is, to really make as a paramount objective Te Reo Māori in an area that we speak English as a very common language is exclusionary, and it is going to create division. It already has in many ways.
Thank you.
Shannon, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just had a quick supplementary. So a university has a duty of care to keep staff and students or the public on their campuses safe. When they deem through their health and safety requirements that they're not able to do that, who is responsible in this instance?
Well, if you're talking about the health and safety of students, then that, of course, is there's a broad topic there, and I guess
so violence breaks out.
Brash.
Here's a good example.
I'll tell you what.
Violence breaks out.
No,
I'm asking.
Shannon,
asking you.
If you clarify, and then I'll take the answer from Elliot. Shannon.
So if violence breaks out, the university is responsible for what happens to people in their care. Is it fair that they are forced to do an event at that time?
Elliot.
You should convict, and you should take into consideration that if people are engaged in violence, then you need to take care of the violent offenders. If you have a fear over words and ideas, then perhaps you should not be a university. If you need to have the health and safety in gear, you need to allow for freedom of speech. It's one of the most, it is the pillar of all other freedoms.
No, okay. I'm talking about people's safety.
I'm going to round it off there. Thank you very much, Elliot, for your submission this morning. That's all we have time for.